What's going on, guys? My name is Cody. I appreciate you checking us out on YouTube, and big thanks to the in-person audience as well. I'm gonna give them a shout out at the end of the video, show you guys online who my special guest is in person. I want to talk about something crazy. Try to wrap your mind around this concept. Creation. To create means to bring something into existence. It means to cause something to happen as a result of one's actions. Create is a verb. Create means to generate, to produce, to design. It's an action. What are you creating? Are you artistic? Are you taking images concocted in your brain and turning them into something beautiful in your sketchbook? Do you have feelings and emotions so strong that the only way that you can express them is through writing words into lyrics that create a song? Are you working? You want those new Vapor Maxes, them new Jordans? So are you going to create an income? What are you creating? What if I told you that you were created? I'm not talking about human biology and how you were physically created in your mother. I'm not talking about your parents. I am talking about you and God, the creator of all things. Can you wrap your mind around God, the creator? And not just the fact that some higher being exists, but the fact that he created everything. He is responsible for the creation of all things. That takes a decent amount of faith, because the concept of creating something from nothing is not humanly possible. But God works outside of human possibilities. Yo,
yes,
he's
sir.
God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Gee. And then try to wrap your mind around God not existing in time in the way that you and I are. For he is the creator of all things, including time. Man, it's so confusing sometimes trying to wrap your brain around the fact that God is always existing. Like, he has been there and he always will be. He never stops. He never ends. There is no starting point and there is no finish line. God does not exist in a marathon race that is the timeline of our lives. So God, who has always been, created something. First, he started with the heavens and the earth. But the earth was empty. The earth looked as if I pulled out all the lint from the dryer after running your grandma's Christmas gifted hand knit cotton sweater on the delicate cycle and balled it all up. It was empty, it was dark, it was cold, it was plain. So God brought in the light. Yo, don't you hate it in the morning when your mom tries to wake you up, but you really are not trying to get up yet? You're like, I need a couple more minutes, Mom. You're just really not trying to get out of bed. So you just kind of lay there and you act like her words and her nudges aren't waking you up. So you just kind of lie there, act like you're still sleeping and hope that she just goes away. You just lie there asleep, you're like, just let me be. But it's a school day. She pulls out the big gun.
Bang, bang.
She says if she comes back, she's bringing the water. On the way out, she opens the curtains and in comes the sunshine. Gee! Oh no! It burns my eyes. Yo, for the record, opening the blinds ain't never get anybody out of bed any quicker. Man, it just makes you want to bundle up in the blankets even more. And now you're even more cozy and you definitely aren't trying to get out of bed. But it was the threat of the water that always got me up. So God brought in the light and he called that day. He separated the light from the dark and called the dark night. Then you know what he did? God sat back, folded his arms, and he was like, I kind of like this day and night. And he said, it was good. Hello? It was then that the earth took its first full rotation. After night came the morning and God picked up right where he left off. Yo, this is crazy. God created a self-sustaining planet and he installed an atmosphere separating the heaven from the earth, and we call that sky. Day 3 came and God got up early because he knew he was gonna be busy today. On this day, he made some adjustments to the pale blue dot. He created land elevating way beyond the oceans. Imagine mountain rangings shooting towards the skies. Big. God created dry lands and he sat back and he said, this land is good. But he realized that there was so much more potential to this earth. He got his Bob Ross on and added so many other colors to his palette. He created vegetation, he created plants, trees, he created fruits, he created vegetables. Ew. Did you know that God intentionally created fruit-bearing trees that produce fruit that contains seeds that would grow in an entirely new fruit-bearing tree? Woo! Yo, let me say that again. Did you know that God intentionally created fruit-bearing trees that produce fruit that contains seeds that would grow in an entirely new fruit-bearing tree? Woo! Woo! So check out them apples that your parents buy and you only eat out of necessity, because they grew from a tree that was once planted from a seed of another apple, and so on and so on. Yo, you ever heard that old question, which one came first, the chicken or the egg? I got another question for you. Which one came first, the apple seed or the tree? The answer is in the Bible. It was the tree. We gotta take a quick pause. No. So far, I've not mentioned any of my source material for this video. Everything I mentioned is straight from the Bible. You can read it yourself. The Bible is an amazing and all-powerful collection of books written a long time ago with many different authors, but all of them have one thing in common. One thing remains true. These writers were all inspired by God, instructed from God, and given the words straight from God when writing what you are reading today. It's as if the Bible was God-breathed. Today we find ourselves in the first book of the Bible called Genesis. Genesis, which literally means the beginning of all creation. It's in the very first chapter that we learn about the wonders of our God, the creator of all things. In this series, we are going to retell some of the Bible because it's full of life-changing stories that apply to you today, starting with how you were created. Now let's get back to it. Unpause. After God checked back on his creation so far, gazing upon the mountains and the seas, from the bushels of broccoli to the tallest of banana trees, he said, "It's good." Yo, God got even more creative and decided that this self-sustaining planet would have to go through cycles aside from just light and dark, day and night. So he created the sun and the moon. He designed the moon to govern the night and the sun to dictate the day. He created the gravitational track that the earth would use around the sun. But this wasn't just about day and night. It was about winter, about spring, about fall, about summer, about spring. Yo, God designed the earth to have seasons. And on this day, he put the stars in the sky. Then God took a step back, he folded his arms, and he said, "I bet you can guess it. This is good." On the fifth day, he made the fish in the sky and the birds in the sea. He made the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky. Yo, God created all the magnificent underwater creatures. Them things are scary. He created the birds to fill the skies. Yo, I keep saying skies. There's one sky. He created birds for the sky, not the skies. He sat back and you already know what he thought. He then made it so these birds and fish would be able to multiply. Hey, God not only blessed the fruit trees to produce more fruit-bearing trees, he did the same for the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky. Man, that's nice. Day 6 is when God created other animals. God wanted to fill his natural creation with an abundance of amazing wildlife. Yo, have you ever been to the zoo? Are you ever astounded by how crazy some of those animals are? Yo, I am often in awe and disbelief that God created each and every one of those animals. Yo, like, have you ever seen a narwhal? It's basically a unicorn whale. That's a real animal and God made that. He made it. He made it! And you know what he thought about all his animals? Yo, these joints are good! Then, do you know what God did? He created this perfect paradise of a world filled with immense vegetation, creative wildlife, vast mountains, deep valleys, beauty as far as the eye can see. Then he created something to rule over all of these things. He created a human, and he created a human in his image. The Bible said, God breathed the breath of life, and God created women too. We can read that God took the rib of a man in his sleep and he formed it into a woman. So we know these first two humans as Adam and Eve. God gave them rule over all the earth. And you know what the last thing God did on that day? He admired his work. Yo, have you guys ever taken a step back to admire something that you have created? You ever find yourself so proud of your own work? Like you want to come home and put it straight on the fridge as long as you don't leave your fingerprints on the stainless steel? Or maybe as you've gotten older, you were so proud of something that you wanted to put it on your social media for all your friends and family to see? Even that dude Jamal who you met between the 6th and the 7th grade at summer camp who you haven't seen in years, you want Jamal to see it too? You ever get that feeling? Your intentions aren't to be cocky, but you did something so nice that you can't help but feel yourself. God was proud of his own self when he created the world, but he was really feeling himself when he created you. That's the one takeaway I want to leave you with after you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Remember that God is responsible for all this natural beauty in the universe. He created the beautiful ocean beaches, the most serene views from mountaintops. He's responsible for that warm, sunny day, and it was his vision that the planet creates rain. He created the vast rainforests and the big ol' icebergs. He created the vegetation that creates food for these beautiful and amazingly complex animals. But what God was most proud of was the creation of humans. Out of every beautiful thing he mentioned, it was only man and woman that God created in his image. So what does all that have to do with you? So much. But if you're ever struggling with what you see in the mirror, look out the window instead. Look outside and see the beauty in nature, and remember that the same God that created that and all this is the same God that created you, and that you were created in his image. So now that the video is over, we're wrapping up, talked about creation. I told you guys I would give a special shout out to the live in studio audience. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's turn this around. Thanks for joining me.